There we go. 0-0. We're back at square one with our two new players. In the top right side, there is. I think he's on the freaks right now. It is the blue Zerg, SOO. Bottom left side, the Alpha X Protoss in the red. Classic. I've seen Classic have quite a nice bit of BVT recently. Kind of hoping this will translate into his PVC as well. We'll have to see. It's quite common for people to have the one matchup they feel very, very comfortable in, and then the other matchup just doesn't seem to work for them. Sort of how it goes as well, back and forth sometimes. At least that's been my experience with playing a game. All right. Nothing crazy, nothing wild, just a standard ZVP so far. Nexus before the Cyber Core. Nice and greedy. The way Classic operated in the PVT, where I really did appreciate his play, was when he kept going for carrier disruptors. But in a very secure way, in a very tight manner. Could be a same army composition you could try to utilize against the Zerg, although it is a bit more precarious as they do have those Vipers and the Corruptors. That neat little trick to take out all of the Interceptors. So yeah, we do have a Stargate opening here for Mr. Classic. We'll have to wait and see whether or not that is going to be taken to the extremes late game as well. SOO isn't known for his late game, right? So I feel like that could be another reason for Classic to try and make it into the late game here. Whereas SOO, he is a player known for staying on the mid-tier units for a little bit longer. A little bit longer than other players are usually. Same with DRG, for example, another one of those players that seems to enjoy the mid game more so rather than the late game. Or maybe they more often feel like, you know what, I can finish my opponent off and actually try to go for it in that mid game. And then sometimes it doesn't work, right? And then you're in this awkward position where it's like, well, I guess I should have had tier 3 units by now, but I don't, so. Awkward place. Void Ray starting to take out the Overlords. The Oracle will be up next on production. I don't think that got scouted, did it? Oh, it did just barely. So he knows there's a Oracle coming up next. Which is nice to know, you know, just a little bit of clarification as to what your opponent is doing. It could be that he just made the one Void Ray to clear out the Overlords and then just thought, you know what, sod it, we're gonna go into a whole different tech tree. That does happen as well sometimes. It's a great way to catch a Zerg off guard and then just suddenly hit him with a right swing, a dead glaive attack, or just a bunch of charged zealots coming across the field, right? I've seen it work. And it is brutal when it does. Gets himself 5 drones here with that one Oracle. That is more than he should have. 4 Adepts now. I'm gonna try their hand as well. They got quite comfortable and confident with the Oracles doing so well in their job. Maybe they thought they would do extremely well in their own job as well. But Not as much success right there, losing all 4 of them. A bit of a letdown overall, but still has the Oracle alive for, well, never mind. He still has the Void Ray alive. Yeah. Blink and +1 are the next step. Gateways in the Robo. I think that's okay. I'm assuming with the sentries here as well, gathering up energy, he's probably planning to try and hit the 4th base of the Zerg before it is completely mining there. Usually you do hit it when it's completed. Gonna be a moment before we get there, of course. So now the question for SOO is still, what is my opponent up to? What's he doing? And it's a rough question to answer for the time being. He does see more Stalkers being warped in every time he walks past the front door. You can see, you know, okay, you're making Stalkers, I guess. Doesn't that naturally give you all the insight you would like to, of course? But it does give you a bit of a sketch picture idea about your opponent's plans. Even more Stalkers right now. He's seen the sentries as well. Got himself a Changeling right on top of those Stalkers. Hallucinated Phoenix. That's the or why am I saying that? That was the previous game. Classic actually going for the 4th base here. Does start to kind of feel like he is just planning to be very defensive and build himself up into a late game composition. Although he's not making more Stargates, he is just still heavily relying on the Gateway forces with their upgrades. Going on the production tab. Entirely in vision there of the circling on the watchtower. Quite a bit more army supply for SOO at the moment. Could be a scary thing, alright. Classic getting a bit of an eye on it at that time. Let's see, will he be able to set himself up properly with those force fields he's got himself? It's going to be rough. The sentries actually caught out. Most of them now getting a bit annihilated by the Zerglings as the Ravagers just bursting through that big wall. Oh my god, he gets the Observer as well with the Biles. It's a bit of a lucky break, but you know what, it works. Yeah, that was abysmal. That was absolutely abysmal for Classic. Is it? Do you... I don't think you normally go for a 4th base with this, right? If you're planning a Blink Stalker attack on the 4th base of the Zerg, I feel like you attack it while you're still on 3 base. And then maybe as you're going across the map, that's when you take your own 4th base. But even if you do... Right then, I don't even think you necessarily need it. If you get a cancellation on the Zerg base, or you get a kill on the Zerg 4th base, and you then start your own Nexus, that's pretty good still. You're in a good position as Brothers now. Kind of went quite aggressive. May come to regret this. To dodge all the Biles. That is a couple of Banelings right there, ready to get themselves right on top of these Zealots. The Zealots not managing to spread out as efficiently as you would like to. Now there's not that much Protoss left. There's one Photon Cannon in the backside still helping out a ginormous arc, and more Starkers actually heading out of the other bases coming in to defend this area. This might still run into a successful defense. Yeah, look at that. He's doing it. Very aggressive with that link though. But while Prison Micro trying to help out any low HP Stalker. He's trying. He's trying. He's making another Nexus here. My god, Classic. He has got himself some balls. That is... That was terrifying. And he just takes a Nexus while it's happening. He's like, yeah, no, we'll keep this Nexus going. We'll get it. We'll get it. Don't worry about it. What's the trade like right now? Actually that is... I thought it would be better for Classic. That does look a bit worrisome. How about tech? Neither of these players seeming very interested in teching up for the time being. Well, we have the Hive tech coming up for SOO. I don't know if he's gonna start producing Hive tech units on Mars, like Ultralistical Brute Lords or the Lurkers, something like that. It does seem like he is planning to stick around on the Roach Ravager Zergling Baneling position. As they are making another fight happen here. One of these guys probably shouldn't commit to this fight, but both of them are gonna try to do it anyway. Okay. Biles. Always fun. Classic, quick on the draw there, seeming to warp in some units here, being able to block the advance of the Banelings quite nicely. Looks like it's a bit weakened though, overall, the wall here, for a potential another run by. As these two blobs of armies are just endlessly running into one another. We can see the unit's trade tab is still slightly favoring SOO, but Classic has been able to keep up on the base count sufficiently enough that I would say that he might be okay still. Classic loses a ton of probes here. 12. Is 12 enough? That is quite a couple. Might start to be more Banelings, Cello. More Banelings than probe at this point. Run into the gateway forces. Still get all the probes as well. 17 of them now in total going down in our exchange. Yeah, SOO is starting to gain more momentum here. I feel like the Great Aspire is on the way. Can make Lurkers or Vipers if he needs to. He, the Bane still turned around for the Zealot flank. That is, yeah, that is it. That's the GG there, I imagine. Too many Zerglings for those Stalkers to deal with. Too many Roaches and Ravagers for the Zealots to deal with. One Immortal comes in trying to help out. By God's Classic, you are really fighting like a gladiator here. But it's just not going to work out. It's just not going to work out. GG is called. SOO takes game number 1. So yeah, I do think still that going for the late game unit tech is going to be beneficial here for Classic. I would like to see a quicker air army trying to be developed. Maybe Void Rays. Maybe some Phoenix initially. That would be good too. And try to wiggle your way into that later game. Well. Talking about that late game, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be the best way to approach it for a Stargate late game safe opening, but Classic, you know, he's the man in charge. He's going to put that Stargate wherever the hell he wants to. He's going to start putting it near the, well, around the 4 o'clock. As SOO, sending his scouts, of course, across the map, is going to send a Zergling here as well, some random ways it looks like. That is starting to... Nope, that is starting to go back up on top. Manages to hide his own Zergling, but he will not be seeing what is hidden for any moment soon. Oh, he will figure out there's a pylon missing here in the base, so that could give him enough insight already on its own. Something that Protoss truly love to proxy is going to be the Stargate. Could be the Robo too, I guess, but... Finishing the Shade here. A bit tricky trying to get anything done, but I guess he does still get a Zergling. little bit of hull damage. He gets eyes on the field there, or what's out in the field as well. Going for Oracle first. Out of Classic, straight up into the Void Ray. The Oracle managed to do a lot of damage the previous game originally, if we remember correctly. And let's see if it manages to do that again. 2 drones, not going to be as big of a hit. Maybe the natural base will bear more fruit for the Oracle. There we go. 3. That is all he's going to get. Unlucky. Stargate's getting spotted. Void Ray jumps out of there and just in the nick of time to defend it against those Zerglings. I guess it would have taken quite a bit though for those Zerglings to... the 3 Zerglings to take down the Stargate. Alright, follow-up plan here for Classic. Once more, relying on the Twilight Council and the Forge. Do we have sentries on the field yet? No, we do not. Okay. We'll have to wait and see if he goes for anything like that. Using Zealots here as the setup near the natural base rather than Adepts. It's interesting. You don't see that too often. I wonder if that's a choice just because of the costs, or is that something else having to do with it? Zealots trying their best to block out the Zerglings, but it is getting a tight choke here. I suppose he is still trading quite efficiently, so... this random bunch of Zerglings do not manage to get any economic damage done, at least. Does have to replenish those Zerglings though, just in case. And is going to be in a position where he does not make as many drones as he possibly should have. Only on 51 just a second ago. 5 workers behind his opponents. I guess he did lose 5 workers, so... fair is fair. Oracle 9 kills right now, most of them being the Zerglings. Finally having the opportunity to break down the Stargate here. Couple of Overlords still being shut down. That could actually supply block SOO here for a little bit. No, this one was already down as well. A little slight one. Nothing too incredibly massive right there for SOO. Circlings, no open area here for them to do anything. What about the natural base? Well, it's a bit exposed. I imagine Classic is going to have a warp-in available here, or will just be able to, you know, block it with a probe warping a building in. There you go. Nice job. Nice job indeed. Link upgrade about to be ready. There's the sentries added into the mix as well. Let's see how well it does. He's still going for that 4th base at the same time himself also. And we can see a clear distinction in the army supplies overall. Stasis trap in the back, hoping to catch himself anything that is chasing too heavily or coming in as a flank. Oh, this could work out quite nicely. That is a big chunk of Zerg units now caught, even more in the secondary stasis. Will Classic be able to take the initiative now? Doesn't seem like he is. There's a lot more Zerglings in the construction tab here for Mr. SOO. Classic just kind of backed up. It's like, alright, well, that's fine, that's fine. You know what? You have so much stuff, even with half of it in stasis. We're still going to struggle taking you out, so... let's not even try. Let's just back up and try to find a different approach. To be fair, he is on full base himself. There's no need to rush this right now and take on his opponent head-to-head. Not forced to do it anyway. Coming in from 2 angles, that's a bit awkward. Doesn't get punished for it just quite yet, though. Might still be with that link chasing the Zerg army. The Zerglings quickly back on the tail of those Stalkers. I don't think the Zerg has enough right now. Although those Zealots, they are not friendly Zealots. They are the anti-Zealots. That's a lot of gas loss, though, from Classic. Look at that. 1,175 versus just 150 from SOO. SOO keeping up with the mineral losses, though. But, yeah, it does seem to be gaining a bit of ground there overall in the resources lost in his favor. Checking some of those menus. Yeah, I don't... There's only one force field. How did those... Did they just run in through the main door? Did they really just run in through the main door? Did they just... We're still here. This is crazy. Okay, well. Okay, get some more probes. I'm sorry, I missed that. I was not anticipating that. Just kind of casually talking. Ooh! Alright. Doesn't get that. More baneling pressure for this base right here, the 9 o'clock of Classic. SOO walking around with the rest of his crew. Classic might set up a nasty bit of pressure as well in his own terms. Unless if he decides to make a recall happen here. So far, not yet. This is a scary Zerg army. Is SOO just gonna actually... Yeah, that's right. SOO is gonna turn around as Classic is now on top of this base with Zealots, sending in the Stalker squad towards the natural base. This is going to be quite a bit of devastation, I imagine. Quite a bit of stuff is going to go down here, and then he's just going to recall out of there as soon as he feels comfortable enough. The Warp Prism declines the invitation right there. Only seven drones going down. I guess, did he get a hatchery here as well? No, he didn't. He only got one hatchery. To be fair, SOO only on 4 at the moment. May have had a cancellation here on this hatchery. It's not too far away from imagining. Okay, well. So a lot of more supply for SOO. A lot of that is in his work account. I want to look at the units lost tab as well, but these guys are just wildly swinging fists at one another once more. It's rough to keep my eyes away for just a moment. Quite a lot of stuff is happening here. Trying to disengage wherever you're not focusing. So we can see SOO kind of backing up with his troops as well. As soon as he feels that pressure again on his side of the field. And that's keeping Classic on this full base economy. Keeping him alive. Forcing this many units of SOO to stay backwards without SOO being able to expand quite as rapidly as he would like to either. Starting to feel pretty good. These Stalkers, imagine if they manage to snipe that base again. That would be an enormous find right there for Mr. Classic. Okay, let's take a look. We got some breathing time right now. Wow, how is that so close? How is that so close? There's like less than 100 minerals apart right now. Actually, exactly 100 minerals. Wow, things fluctuate as Bane's roll in. That's pretty sick though. Warp Prism dealt with. The Baneling run-bys, they are still a bit of trouble, that's for sure, but they're not getting a lot of probe kills, nor are they getting the Nexi. So, they need to perform a little bit better if they really want to get value out of these big roll-bys. To if they get their value this time around. The big blink already had occurred all backwards, so these banelings now starting to get quite a bit of efficiency against these stalkers. It will be enough. Army supply starting to plummet quite a bit here for Classic, but he's kind of holding on. More banelings collapsing, definitely doing a number on him. No shield batteries either. Is a rough thing to see. Did he have any initially? No, none of them were. I thought maybe he had them and then the banelings blew them up. But that's not the case either. He's just being very careful with where he spends this money and doesn't want to spend it on shield batteries, I would imagine. Either that or... well, I don't know what other reason why he wouldn't. I doubt he forgot about it. He's spreading out once more. Doing an okay job against those banelings. You really want to be spread out as much as possible. And his micro is on point right now. Although he does still lose. He does still lose. And, you know, your micro can be really great against the banelings. But, I mean, that's going to make your micro less good against the Zerglings, right? That's the problem right there. I kind of like the two styles that they are going for. Bashing into one another here. Very low-tech matches between these two so far. But then, once more, I do feel like that would be such a benefit for Classic to just get, like, a disruptor, you know? Just a disruptor against SOO's usually quite heavy-leaning Roach Ravager army compositions. Just one of those things, you know. It's just one of those things. A more gateway-oriented playstyle has been becoming a lot more popular, though, amongst the Protoss against Zerg. But that's because the Zerg, they managed to be so efficient now in that late game. It does terrify the Protoss. And trying to get more leads in the early to mid game can be really good. But then if you're playing against SOO, who's, you know, bread and butter is the early and mid game. It's, well, most of the mid game, I suppose. But it's pretty good at the early game too. Unless if he randomly attacks you. Sometimes that doesn't go well. Sometimes that's where the rubber doesn't quite hit the road where it wants to. Stargate approach from Classic. Again, not upset about that one bit. Still think the Stargate units are some of the more fun units for the Protoss to play with. Absolutely horrid to play against, of course, but at least when they catch you off by surprise, you just fly into your main base. It's like, oh right, that's 6 Void Rays. They kill things very quickly. Stuff like this that only happens in the lower leagues. Well, SOO's making him work for it. Can he get it out? Can he get it to safety? Oh, I think he will. What a pro. What a pro. The jukes and dives, or the jeeves and jives, is that what you call it? Whatever those English-speaking people say. The zigs and the zags. Really cool. Ah, doesn't save the circling. What a shame. More than enough daps over here. Classic on the hunt with his 2 oracles. Wants to, well, find some drone damage, preferably. Does not manage to, unfortunately for him. Is there? I don't know. I was wondering if there was a another observer here. I think there might be. He's just watching the oracles endlessly. Oh, there we go. Scooting and looting. 3 drones, 4 drones. There. Oh no, doesn't get that one. Quick recycle into the spore crawler. Might re-recycle it back into a drone eventually. As the drone numbers are starting to dwindle now. 8 of them being caught off guard. And not well enough protected. So they will die to the green laser beams. Bunch of Zerglings here. Might be enough if they catch all these adepts out of position. But SOO decides not to even try, and I don't blame him. That is a scary amount of gateway units. More will be warped in. It's, yeah, unlikely that you're going to get a good fight there. Just kind of patiently waiting. Sending the Overseer across the main, sees the Templar Archives. He saw the Warprism also together with those Zerglings, so that might be a nice thing for him right there. Stasis traps being spotted. Not gonna be victors today. Warprism with 2 Archons now, looking to head on over to the main base, I imagine. And quite a big charge army is heading towards the front door. How many gateways do we have? 8 of them. There's no 4th base this time around for Classic, so I feel like this attack does have a bit of potential here. What is he planning to do with the Archons, though? Overall, there's quite a couple of Roaches and Queens here. Did pull away a lot of those units from the Zerg, but he didn't manage to warp anything in himself yet, so he just doesn't have the forces to really make anything happen. Now trying to warp in, actually quickly rethinks his options. Okay. So is it like all a fake attack? Was that his intention right from the beginning? Because he did force out a lot of Roaches out of SOO. He did force SOO to not take a 4th base quite yet. Which is not bad. He's ahead on the worker count. It's just a 30 army supply, and with shield battery, photon cannon, defender's advantage, that shouldn't be too much of a hassle here for Classic, considering the army compositions especially, right? SOO still very much relying onto the Roach Ravagers. So we are getting a lot of Archons, a lot of Immortals, Charge Lots. If it is actually going to be enough. Where are the Immortals? Should be partaking in this fight right here. We have 4 of them. Are they in the Warp Prism somewhere? Where are they? They are Zealots over here. There they are. Okay, well, I thought they would be here the entire time, to be fair. Using a heck of a lot of probes here as well. 15 of them in total. We'll be able to hunt down the Roach Ravager Ball. That was a big deal. That was a lot of damage being taken there by Classic. And he's going to have to strike back. Now, he does have a bit of force here to make that happen with. Gonna try to subdue these Roach Ravager units as well with the double Archon as much as he can. One more shot would be nice. Does get that Ravager. Has to be careful, man. Those four Immortals, they pack a punch, but I mean, it might just be a numbers game for the time being. Needs to warp in more units if he wants to make a push happen here. Couple of Roaches. Just being a nuisance. Target down the shield battery. It's always nice to have that be the first target, you know, not losing the probes right off the bat. It's unfortunate when they do go down, but still. Rather lose a shield battery rather than 4 extra probes, you know? Go, that's a lot of Immortals. Getting hit by the Biles a little bit right there as they are softened up quite a bit. But they do still manage to hold the front line here for a little while as the Archons are trying to tank the damage. The Archons are starting to fall though, as once again it might just have become a numbers game. A numbers game of too many Immortals. Oh, another Bile. Okay, doesn't quite finish off that low HP Immortal. Man, oh, another Roach from the back finds its target. Classic trying to chase down once more, hoping to inflict as many casualties as possible. But it may come to cost him his Immortals here. It may come to cost him. Ooh, nice pickup micro, there we go. Is he gonna juggle enough? There is no retreat for these Immortals now. Well, you know what? Zealots come in. He's doing it. Alright, continue the push. We are continuing. No, we are not continuing the push. We're heading back home. Alright. Yeah, with all of that, I don't. There's so many Immortals. 6 and 7 Archons as well. Swarm hosts now available for SOO. Trying to just be as cost efficient as possible, and against the Immortal Archons, they should be pretty solid. Actually, Archons, they might be able to kill off the Locust in time, but I mean, if you run in those Locusts through the sky, right, then land on them at the same time behind the Locusts, you run in the Roaches. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay, here comes the meat shield for the Zerg. Wait for them to arrive as they fly across. That's when you send in the Roaches. There they go, onto the Archons. The Archons now preoccupied together with the Immortals with their AI retargeting the wrong thing. Now you back up. Does he back up? I mean, we are playing the numbers game quite heavily in SOO's favor right now. It is 136 army supply versus 59. And although I really like these types of approaches, I think you'll be more successful with this type of approach against someone other than SOO. You know, this is the game SOO wants to play. This is what he loves to play. If he has the option to play this match every time, he probably would, right?